Well, howdy neighbor. Welcome back to Hammer and Saw Customs, right here on the Big Island of Hawaii. I'm old brother Bill, jack of all trades, master of none. Back from vacation, it was a quick week, so let's hop right into it. Today we're going to get started on part 2 of the zombie apocalypse pallet wood privacy fence. But mostly it's just a pallet wood privacy fence. It's a beautiful day. Let's jump right in. So grab you a snack, get you something cold to drink, and we'll get started inside. Man, you ever notice how much work you do and how tired you get when you go on vacation? It's almost like you got to take a vacation from a vacation. Oh, hey neighbor, you're back. Yep, the shop looks like a mess. I did say we were going to run in here, but actually what we're going to do is we're going to make a little makeshift shop up by the Homestead. Going to use the old garden shade cloth cover thing as a temporary field station to assemble the fence and show you how that's coming along. So without further ado, I'm going to grab you, hike up there, and we'll jump right into the project. I'll see you in just a second. Alright neighbor, here we are in our little field station assembly. We've got our old pallet, we've got our old 3-rail fencing wood that I'm going to use as our little workbench. We've got our startings to our pallet wood privacy fence, zombie apocalypse variety. First things first, old Safety Steve, you know, he's going to jump in there, going to have some safety glasses on, some good work clothes. I had to keep the sun out of your eyes today, or the hair out of your project, or the sawdust out of your hair, whatever worked for you. Some good shoes to keep those old feet protected. And of course, working with pallet wood or any other equipment or wood that's got splinters, you know, because it's not very smooth. We want to have some old glove laters or phalange covers. That said, I'm going to get started. First, we're going to want to protect our wood. So Bill's got a wood protectant. You know, it's patent pending. No, not really. But you can use whatever wood protectant you like. But I'm going to use my own mixture from the old timers way back. And that reminds me, when I get done, I need to change the little Mrs. oil in her car. Shoot, I hope I have enough. Anyway, let me get that set up and we'll get started with that. All right, neighbor. So anytime you're using raw wood, you've got a location that's going to be wet and rainy and what have you. You're going to always want to put some protectant on the wood, and you're really going to do that before you do your final assembly. With that, pretty simple. You're going to want to get all of the wood covered and your choice of protectant. So you're just going to roll it on. You're going to hit all the sides, front and back. Biggest thing is where your cut ends, you're going to want to really soak that in. Just soak that into that fresh open wood. So basically you're just going to rinse and repeat. Pretty simple there, folks, until you get all your pieces covered. So next, we'll jump into assembly. All right, neighbor, we're ready for assembly. So what we're going to be using today to do that is our good old handy dandy Bluetooth wireless used new to me tools, a drill, and a hammer drill, or a hammer driver, not a drill driver. I guess you could use it for a drill if you have one of those fancy little drill bits that has the end on it that costs tons of money. But anyway, it's pretty simple. You're going to take your layover piece. I've already got a mark on the inside to center my two boards because this was going to sandwich those together. I'm going to go ahead and drill our pilot hole. Pretty simple. Always want to use a pilot hole on pallet wood or some hardwoods, because you're going to end up splitting. Plus, it just helps get everything lined out. So, pretty simple, pretty easy. Just gonna get this screwed together, and I'll show you what it looks like after I get it screwed together, because this is gonna be our top rail of our privacy fence, and they're gonna have an identical one for the bottom rail. And then we're gonna just put our stand-up boards on that. I'll show y'all, don't worry, don't wanna get ahead of myself. So, pretty simple. Pilot hole, add screws, we'll build our infrastructure out of pieces, because that's what you got to do with pallet wood. So stand by, I'll show you what it all looks like. Okay, neighbor, we're going to put our last support screw in, and there you have it. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 individual pieces that they're making our cross support, turn it this way, from our post to post. And you've seen the posts that I built back in part 1. So this is going to be the cross post for the top, and basically going to rinse and repeat and make another engineered cross post for the bottom, because the pallet wood doesn't come in the lengths that we need. So you just got to do a little math, do a little measuring, do a little engineering, and then you've got one heck of a strong cross post. So what we've done is we've drilled our pilot holes, we've ran our screws into the top, and then where we have our butt joints, we've done a 45 with a 3-inch screw to tie that in, and that just ain't gonna move. So let me just knock out the bottom one, and then we'll move over to the fence, and I'll show you how I'm setting that post in the ground, or on the ground, or on top of the ground. Anyway, you'll see it in the video, so stick with me. All right, neighbor. I know I didn't show you, but I think you guys have got the gist about how we're engineering our beams, our cross pieces, how we're spreading the weight or load out. So basically what I've got here, this is going to be the top support piece that's going to run from the top of the post to the other post. That's going to carry our roof. It's going to carry our roofing. This is going to support the roofing that's going to protect our fence for the most part from the heavy rains and things of that nature, and have it last a little longer. So pretty simple, same. We've got the 2x4 pallet runners that join with a 2x4 type pallet runner that goes on top to bridge that gap. We've got our spare pieces, and as you can see, I've notched that in, and then this end, got enough room here, has it running this way. That way you can key the supports in from the next post to the next post to the next post. We just keep tying these in so we can rest our metal roofing on that. So we've already coated it like we did with the other pieces. We've already ran our pilot holes, we've already screwed it together, but instead of the L, we've got like the T shape. So let's add this with our other pieces for the fence, and we'll show you how to install, or how I'm installing, the support post. So we'll get started on that right now. All right, neighbor, here's our key players in today's fence. That's our 2x4 style pallet wood runners stacked up there. We've got our top and bottom supports, and then we got our roof supports, and we've got our roofing suspension supports. You've seen those built and installed on top of the post. So let's go see how we get that post installed. All right, neighbor, I'm lucky here because I already had an old fence that's been here, I don't know, 14 plus years. So what I'm going to redo is reuse that post fence, and I've cut that down to accept the size of the post that I'm going to slide over, and then we're going to screw to this post. So this post luckily is already been treated, and it's already level and straight. So without further ado, I'm going to show you how I'm installing the Apocalypse zombie apocalypse post. So here we go. Voila, pretty simple, right? And then we're now going to start the install of our cross bracing bars. Stand by. All right, here we go. It's the bottom support piece. We've already done our pallet holes, and we've already put our screws and started our screws in. You just line up everything. That's going to do that for that. And now we're going to set up our second one so we can start putting up our runners. And just to give you a little visualization of what that's going to look like, I'm going to pop you over to the first section that I've already got done for you. So let's do that. So spoiler alert, neighbor, this is what we're going for. So we just installed the bottom runner. Now we're going to get the top runner in, which is going to support our toothpicks, as they call them, or our, yeah, I don't know what else they call them there, but our runners here. And then we'll go with the top management system and get the metal roofing on. And I'm going to show you all that next, but I know I wanted to get you in here, at least give you a good idea of what you're going to see today and keep you all enthusiastic of what we're going to finish out. So this section's a little shorter, this section's a little longer, but hey, that's what the old fence I had installed was like, so I'm just going to go with that, because best to recycle and reuse what you have instead of, you know, trying to reinvent the wheel. So we'll get back to this installation and keep going, neighbor. Okay, neighbor. It's the hardest thing to balance, screw stuff together. So what I did, I went ahead and slapped in a regular strap to kind of sandwich this in so all this doesn't fall apart. It's kind of handy as a pocket on a shirt. I don't have a pocket on my shirt, but I do have a pocket in my pants. I think you've heard that before. So here's our top and bottom runners. You can already see I've got our picket fence tooth set up on this side to support this end, to support that end, so we're nice, level, straight as pallet wood will get. What I do now is we'll pre-drill, attach this with our screws on each side, tie these guys in also on this strap, and then we'll start putting in the picket fence. So let me get that set up and we'll go from there, neighbor. All right, neighbor, I'm doing my mathematical calculations from earlier on our 3.5 inch pallet board here. We've got our engineered top and engineered bottom braces, but I want to tie in a little bit more strength. So what I want to do is I'm going to center our first picket fence board at 1 3/4 and 1 3/4. That way we'll cover this seam, run the screws from the back each side. That'll tie those together even more so. And we're going to do the same thing down here on the bottom. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the thickness of this board as my gaps, because I've already laid this out in the garage and made sure my distance and lengths and spacing's all ready to go. So let me get started on that and I'll show you how that's all going to come together. All right, neighbor, the jungle's kind of thick here, so doing the best I can to get you in nice and close. What we're going to do with our picket fence teeth, we're basically going to set those up there. We're going to do our pilot holes, and we're going to screw in our old deck screws that Brother CJ's stash of stuff that he left us is still going strong. And to keep all that looking good, what we're going to do is we're going to use another picket to do our spacing. Now, if you're smart enough, intelligent enough, or just more smarter than Brother Bill, you probably can lay this out right here, tape measure, figure it all out, do some calculations, some, you know, arithmeticing here and everything. But I laid mine out after I already knew what my dimensions were going to be on a flat area like the garage, because that just hurts old Brother Bill's brain when you get into all that calculus and rhythmus and all those funny words. So this is how I did mine. I'm going to start out on the ends and work our way to the middle. That way when we get down to the end, we need to fudge factor in anything like, you know, boards got flip, turn, you know, because they're all not, you know, perfectly straight as pallet wood. We'll have that better under control once we get there. So, not to bore you, but that's basically how it's going to go. It's going to go a board here, we're going to spacer, we're going to do another board, we're going to do a spacer, and just keep on down the line. So let me get this side done. I'll show you what the finished product looks like, and then I'll show you how we start on the other side. We'll go from there. Sound good? You know I can't hear you. But you know what you could do for me in the interim, while you're waiting for me to do this, there's that little box down there. Yeah, that little hammer and saw emblem. That's actually the subscribe button. So if you folks wouldn't mind to hit that subscribe button, shoot some likes, shares would be awesome. You got comments out there, that's great. Show me your projects. Or don't, that's fine. Because this is what Brother Bill's building, and I'm just bringing you along for the ride. Also, Brother Bill's out there playing around on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, just for those folks that don't have time to watch a whole video like this. But other than that, we'll get back to the show. I greatly appreciate you folks, and we'll get back to the project. So stand by. All right, neighbor, there's our first half and how it's coming along. So let's jump in on that second row, get that knocked out, and then on to the roofing. So hope you're enjoying it so far. Okay, neighbor, there we go. Our picket is in from right to left, left to right, top to bottom. Pretty solid, eh? All right, so the next step, you saw me put together the top support bracket. It's setting up there because, you know, I couldn't make it levitate. It wasn't like I was trying to install it before you guys got here. So we just drop this right into our notches, push it over, and drop it into place. Now all we got to do is do some pallet holes and some screws. We'll screw that down. And then I'll show you how we're going to install the cross pieces for the metal roof. So stand by. All right, so what we got so far is we got our top beam in. We've got our supports in. As you can see, the runner on the other side, and I'm going to show you how those go in. And we have tied in our top beam, which I didn't show, which is as simple as we make a pallet hole. And drop in a screw for that. Just like that. So now our top beam is tied in. We've attached our supports for our metal roofing the same way like we did our tie-in to our support for our post. You can see that screw there. And then now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay these up here. Once again, lay these up here. Run in a pilot hole in the screw, and we're just going to continue on this side, just like you see back here, and then we'll be ready for the metal. Pretty simple, right? Well, if you got any questions, remember, get those old fingers out, click clack down there on the old computer, shoot over Brother Bill some questions, comments, concerns, and I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as possible. I hope you're enjoying the build. It looks like it's coming along really good. It is a hot one today, and the day is getting away from me, so we're going to kick it in high gear so we can get this roof finished for this video. All right, stand by. All right, neighbor, we're back over here with the metal. Basically, I already know my measurement, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to take a permanent marker. I'm going to make my marks across there. Then I'm going to take a square or a straight edge, either one, either way. And I'm just going to connect the dots like so. Easy peasy, right? Now, you can take some shears and cut, but you're probably going to have to do like, you know, one sheet at a time, which is probably going to take forever. So the quickest way is that you square up your sheets. I've got about 4 of them here connected. They're not connected, but all squared up, laying on top of each other. And then I got a little handy dandy wireless Bluetooth well, skill saw, not skill saw. What is this? Shoot, I forgot. Maybe you guys need to put this down in the comments. Let me figure that out for a second. Jigsaw, but I can tell you right now I got the wrong blade in there. This one says fine finished wood. That wouldn't work out too good. Let's see in my box of junk if I got the right blade or not. And it looks like not. Let me go grab the right blade. I'll be right back. Neighbor, I got the right blade. Always helps to have the right tools, right? So what you want to do is you're going to want to support this metal on this side of your cut line and then this side of the cut line. And of course, your metal that you're going to work towards, you want that supported too, because that's what's going to keep this thing from kicking back, jumping around, and causing you all kinds of headaches and problems, and you're going to get a better, smoother cut. Also, don't set your speed too low, and it's probably not a good idea to set it too high. So I'm somewhere in the mid-range. So with that, I know I do have something to share. I had a subscriber say that they thought the show was going to be a good show, so they subscribed. But then again, they saw the same content over and over, and I'm like, well, scratch my head on that one. There's some things I do cover for the new folks. And then they were saying they didn't like high-speed motion, you know, the fast forwarding, which I've tried to eliminate in this one just to give you guys a sense of what it really takes to keep stuff moving. And that person too, which I can't remember who, what, where, why, what it was. So I'm trying something new with this video, but in this where it's noisy, loud, obnoxious, like me, I am just going to throw it in high speed and mute it out with some nice music, just so you're not just listening to the jigsaw. That's what the name of this is. Cut through this, and hey, it is what it is, right? What's the old adage? You can please all the people some of the time, some of the people, you know, whatever the heck it is, I don't know. But here we go, and I will see you on the other side. All right, neighbor, there you have it. Pretty much simple. I need to adjust my support. That's what happens when your support isn't under there. You get a little jump, especially on that very end. But I've got 5 pieces or more here ready to go. So I'm just going to line this up and do it again. So I've got enough to finish out the section of the fence that we're working on with you guys. So I'm just going to rinse, repeat. You saw it once, you saw it twice. You don't want to see it again, I'm sure. So stick with me. I'll be right back, and then we'll be out the fence, install our roofing. And oh yeah, well yeah, this. Yeah, I hear you. You know, I said I couldn't hear you, but I can hear you already. You're saying, well, Brother Bill, man, that sure does look awful shiny and new. Well, yeah, it is. Here in the islands, you know, this metal is going to patina up quite a bit. It's going to get kind of rough in that, but you know, it's kind of hard to find that. People kind of scarf it up kind of quick. So, but this is dent and scratch metal. So when you head down to the big box store or your hardware store, talk to the lady or the guy, manager, whoever's in charge. See if you can get some of the dent scratched material. And also, if you're a veteran, hey, be humble, but ask them if they give any veteran discounts. You know, hey, what's a little here or there, if not, if anything, if what you've done for our country. So with that, I'm going to hammer on safely, or saw on safely. And I will see you over at the fence just in a few moments. Well, all right, neighbor. The day has just flew by with all the things that we've been doing on this project here. And of course, Safety Steve's going to get on to me for being on uneven ground on a ladder, but oh well, it is what it is. But what I've done is I've got our first piece in here. I've already done the other side, so we can just kind of get that out of the way, and I can use it to line up as I'm talking to you folks. Biggest thing is, pretty simple with our metal. Always remember to have the old glovulators or phalange covers on when you're handling this metal, even if you've deburred it and cleaned it. Oh, it's so sharp. So let's be safe there. Basically, I'm just adding it to the side. I'm just using some 1-inch deck screws, because have you seen the price of roofing screws? Oh, that's absolutely insane. I can always go back later on, put a little RTV over that, and it'll last so much longer, so much cheaper. Plus the decking screws were from Brother CJ. So I'm gonna lock that in just by sliding it under there. And then I'm just using an elementary piece. I know you can have fancy clamps and you can do chalk lines and all that, but I've just got a 1/2 inch cut off, and that's what I'm using as my overhang. So I just take that, toss it up under there, and put it even. Give myself a nice 1/2 inch overhang. I'm taking my wireless Bluetooth drill with a metal bit, and I'm just popping a hole like so. Grabbing that deck screw, and then we're just zooming them down. It's got a little bit of a tapered end on that head. It kind of seals right into that metal, so I'm kind of happy the way it goes in there. So I'm just gonna pop a few holes, pop a few screws, and I'm just gonna rinse and repeat till I get down to the end. And then we're gonna go in and throw our cap plate on that you could saw in that first little section. And don't worry, I know the day's been a little fast, a little rushed. It's a lot to get done in one day from start to finish, but that's all right. I've got several more sections of this to install. So, hey, if you missed something, want to see something more detail, let those old fingers do the walking, click clack down there on the old computer, but let me know. I'll be covering more things in detail as we get to next section. This is only part 2, but actually part 1 of actual install. So you can see there's a lot goes into making a custom privacy fence, or in our case, zombie apocalypse fence. So let me get these installed, and I'll show you how I'm throwing on our recycled ridge cap. So stand by. Okay, neighbor. We've got the metal on, so it's on down through there, looking good. So now we need to put a ridge cap on. A ridge cap is nothing but some recycled shipping support metal, galvanized, that came in some crates at work. So I'm going to toss this up. It's got some markings and tape on it. It's already started patina. Perfect. So this is how I'm going to put that up there. And we're going to use some cheap metal screws to attach it. So I've already got this one installed. Then only overlap it a couple of inches. We're just gonna drill through it and screw it down. That's how that's going to work, neighbor. Just on and on and on, making sure I keep it straight and even. So you see how that's going to cap off the top of our metal. So let me get that installed. Pretty simple, right? You got any questions? You know what to do. Get that installed and I'll show you the finished product. Well, all right, neighbor. What do you think? I don't think it could turn out any better if I had had two Brother Bills on this thing today. So there's the roof. Zing, zang, zoom, all the way down. There's the first section. Bada boom, bada bing. It's a shorter section. And then we put in this big old section today from start to finish. And I have to say, neighbor, I've had a blast. I'm tired. And I know you guys maybe got some questions. Like, what's going to go in that big opening there? Well, you're just going to have to tune in and see, neighbor. Because something's going to go in that opening. Something's going to go in that opening for sure. Now, I've got several more sections of this to build. So don't you worry. This is going to be a while. So you'll have time to make your questions, make your comments, and time to not miss out on anything. But there's those posts that we built some time back. You guys saw the supports that we built some time back and how they went into the structure of the roof. And I think that just looks absolutely so good in the setting it's in. All right, neighbor, let's head on down to the shop and we'll do a quick closeout. Thank some folks and go from there. Woo, neighbor, isn't it just amazing how much infrastructure goes into making a custom piece? But I guess when it's that big. But the cool thing about it is it's just pennies on the dollars. Now it is some, back-breaking work, but the enjoyment, I tell you what, it's just got to be one of the funnest projects other than building the shop here that I've done in a long time. So with that, and we hammered on safely today, going home with all 8 fingers, 2 thumbs, and toes. And that's the big part of it, to enjoy yourself but not get hurt. So always, always, always remember this, neighbor. If your neighbor can do it, you can learn to do it too. I hope you learned something today. I hope it cleared up some things in your mind more than asking questions. But you know, if you got questions, that just means you're curious and you just want to learn more, which is great and awesome. We want to thank our veterans out there, past and present. And we want to thank our first responder folks. When you hear those sirens, get out the way. And I just want to thank you folks for tuning in. I know it gets a little slow and coming up with ideas and setting things up, but old Brother Bill works a 40+ hour a week for the band. And then I do this on my off time as my relaxation. Go figure. Sure do appreciate you folks. Come back and see me real soon. And hopefully I'll have part 3 out to you real fast, real soon. We'll get some more sections in. And I got a real creative idea on how to do the gate, kind of maybe something along the lines of how I do the old pallet wood workshop barn slider door here. We'll have to see how that all plays out. Until next time, keep it between the ditches and aloha. I'm sorry. You know, old Brother Bill is absent-minded and forgetful as all out. We all know it's because of this. Especially after last week when I was on vacation. Woohoo, boy. I've been shooting this on a iPhone SE. and the memory is getting shorter and shorter and shorter, even though I keep downloading videos. I got maybe a Hero 6 used GoPro. I'm going to try that out. You guys let me know how that might work. If it's got some glitches, or maybe it's just the operator. So the question is, what do you guys use to shoot your videos? If you do shoot any videos and take pictures. Can't believe I've got this far on that old used iPhone SE. But we'll see where that goes. Let me know. Get those old fingers out, click back down on the computer, and share your info with old Brother Bill. Till next time, keep between the ditches. Brother Bill's going to miss you, and aloha.